My fiancée said, "I'm charging you rent now. This is my apartment too. My apartment I owned before we met." I replied, "Interesting business proposal." Then I had her served with an actual lease agreement. $3,200 per month, first, last deposit. When she saw the terms. Original post. I 32 male bought my apartment 6 years ago. 2-bedroom, nice building, decent neighborhood. Paid off the mortgage completely 3 years ago through a combination of aggressive payments and a small inheritance from my grandfather. It's mine. Free and clear. No bank, no landlord, nobody. My fiancée and I have been together for 2 years, engaged for 3 months. She moved in about 14 months ago. The arrangement was simple. I own the place outright, so she didn't pay rent. She contributed to utilities and groceries. We split those roughly 60/40ths since I make more. Seemed fair. Last Tuesday, she came home from having drinks with her sister. I was on the couch watching basketball when she sat down across from me with that look. You know the one. The "we need to talk" face. "I've been thinking," she started, "about our living situation. Okay, this is my home too. I've been living here for over a year. I have rights. I muted the TV. Rights to what? To this apartment. To equity. To security. I've been contributing to this household, and I deserve recognition for that." I was genuinely confused. You don't pay rent. You pay for some groceries and half the electric bill. What equity are you talking about? That's exactly my point. She crossed her arms. I've been giving you free labor. Cooking, cleaning, emotional support. That has value. I've decided I'm charging you rent now. $800 a month. It's only fair. I actually laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. I'm serious. My sister says I'm basically subsidizing your lifestyle by not demanding compensation for my contributions. This is my apartment too, and you need to start paying me for the privilege of living with me. Let me be clear about something. My fiancée doesn't cook. I do about 70% of the cooking. She cleans by occasionally running the vacuum and wiping down counters. And emotional support? That's called being in a relationship. I provide that too. Let me get this straight, I said slowly. You want me to pay you $800 a month to live in my own apartment? The apartment I own, that I paid off before I ever met you. It's our apartment now. I live here. I have tenant rights. And yes, you should be compensating me. Interesting business proposal. I picked up my phone and started typing notes. I'll need to think about this. She seemed satisfied. Went to bed thinking she'd won something. She had no idea what she just started. The next morning, I called my buddy from law school. He's a real estate attorney now. Explained the situation. He laughed for about 30 seconds straight. She wants to charge you rent in your own property? That's creative. What are my options here? Well, she's technically a tenant at will. No lease, no formal agreement. If she wants to make this a business arrangement, you can absolutely make it a business arrangement. Meaning you can draw up an actual lease. Market rate. First month, last month, security deposit. The works. If she wants to play landlord-tenant games, she can play by actual landlord-tenant rules. I had him draft something that afternoon. 3 days later, on Friday evening, my fiancée was in the kitchen making herself a smoothie when the doorbell rang. I was conveniently in the bathroom. "Can you get that?" I called out. She opened the door to a process server. Nice older gentleman, very professional. He handed her an envelope. "You've been served." I emerged from the bathroom just in time to see her standing there, envelope in hand, looking completely bewildered. "What is this?" "Open it." She did. "Read the first page. Then the second." Her face went through about 6 different colors. This is a lease agreement. You're trying to charge me $3,200 a month in rent. Market rate for a 2-bedroom in this building. You can check the comparables. Units 4B and 7A are both listed right now. Actually, I'm being generous. They're asking $3,400. This says first month, last month, and a security deposit. That's almost $10,000. $9,600 to be exact. Standard terms. You wanted a business arrangement. Here's a business arrangement. I'm your FINC. And I'm your landlord, apparently. Your words, not mine. You said this is your apartment too, and you wanted to establish financial terms. Here they are. She was shaking, literally shaking. This is insane. You can't do this. Actually, I can. My attorney drew it up. It's completely legal. You have 30 days to either sign the lease and provide the deposit or vacate the premises. Vacate? You're kicking me out. I'm giving you a choice. You wanted to treat our home like a business transaction. Cool. Here's the transaction. Sign and pay, or find somewhere else to live. We're supposed to get married. I took off my ring, the engagement ring I'd given her 3 months ago. No, wait, I took off my own ring from my finger that matched hers. Are we? Because people who are getting married don't usually try to extort rent from their partners. She started crying. Big, heaving sobs about how I was being cruel, how I was twisting her words, how she never meant any of this. You literally told me, word for word, that you were charging me rent and I needed to pay you for the privilege of living with you. In my own apartment, the one I own. Did I misunderstand something? I was just, my sister said. Your sister. Interesting. Maybe your sister can help you come up with $9,600. Update 1, 4 days later. So things escalated. Shocker, I know. After Friday's lease reveal, my fiancée called her mother. Her mother called my mother. My mother called me. What on earth is going on? I explained the situation. There was a long pause. She tried to charge you rent? In your own apartment? Yep. And now you're charging her actual rent? Yep. Another pause. Well, I can't say I blame you, but this is going to be messy. She wasn't wrong. Saturday morning, the cavalry arrived. My fiancée's mother, her sister, the one who apparently gave her this brilliant advice, and her best friend since college all showed up at MY apartment for what they called an intervention. I was making coffee when the doorbell rang. Opened it to find 3 very angry women. We need to talk, her mother said, pushing past me. Please come in. Make yourselves at home in my apartment that I own. The sister glared at me. Don't be smug. I'm not being smug. I'm being accurate. They sat in my living room like a tribunal. My fiancée was already there, still in pajamas, looking like she hadn't slept. Her mother started. This lease nonsense needs to stop. You're being petty and vindictive. Petty? She literally demanded I pay her $800 a month to live in my own home. A home I paid off years before I met her. How was my response petty? The sister jumped in. She was just trying to establish some financial security. You men always want women to be dependent on you. She was trying to advocate for herself. Financial security in the form of monthly payments from me to her for existing in my apartment. That's not financial security. That's extortion. It's equity, the sister snapped. She's been contributing to this household. She pays about $200 a month in utilities and maybe $300 in groceries. That's $500. For 14 months, that's $7,000 total. I provided her with free housing worth approximately $44,800 in that same period, based on market rent. Who exactly owes who equity here? Silence. I did the math. I added. You want to talk business? Let's talk business. She's actually about $37,800 in the hole, if we're counting. My fiancée started crying again. Her mother put an arm around her. You're being deliberately cruel, her mother said. She loves you. She made a mistake. Can't you just forgive her? A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. A mistake is shrinking a sweater in the wash. Demanding payment to exist in someone else's home and calling it your right is not a mistake. It's entitlement. The best friend finally spoke up. So what? You're just going to throw away a 2-year relationship over this? I'm not throwing away anything. She drew this line. She made this demand. She set the terms. I'm simply responding to them. She has. I checked my phone. 26 days to either pay up or move out. Her choice. The entitlement got worse. Way worse. Sunday night, I came home from grabbing dinner with a friend to find my apartment had been rearranged. My gaming setup, PS5, gaming monitor, the nice chair, all of it had been moved into the second bedroom, which was now locked. From inside, with my fiancée in it. She'd literally barricaded herself in my spare room with my stuff. What are you doing? I asked through the door, establishing my territory. This room is mine now. You can't kick me out of it. That's my PlayStation. It's an MY room. Finders keepers. I cannot believe what I was hearing. You realize this changes nothing about the lease situation, right? I'm not signing your stupid lease. I'm not paying you anything. And I'm not leaving. My sister looked it up. I have tenant rights. You'd have to formally evict me, and that takes months. So get comfortable, because I'm not going anywhere. She was right about one thing. Formal eviction does take time. In our state, probably 60 to 90 days if she fought it. But there was another option. See, tenant rights protect you from being literally thrown out on the street. They don't protect you from consequences of breaching reasonable household agreements. And they definitely don't protect you from. Fine, I said through the door. Stay in there. I'll be out here. I went to my room, opened my laptop, and started documenting everything. Photos of the locked door, the timeline of events, every text message from the past week, everything. Then I called the locksmith for the morning. Update 2, 8 days later. Okay, so Monday morning was interesting. The locksmith came at 9 a.m. He changed the lock on the master bedroom door, my bedroom, and installed a hasp lock on the outside of the spare bedroom door, the one my fiancée had locked herself into. When she finally emerged around noon, she'd been sneaking to the bathroom when she thought I was asleep. She found two things. She could no longer access the master bedroom, where her clothes were. Her territory could now be locked from the outside. What did you do? She demanded. Establish my territory. I was packing a bag for work. Your clothes are in garbage bags in the hall closet. The master bedroom is now off limits. And if you take any more of my belongings into that room, I'll lock it with you outside of it. This is harassment. This is property rights. You want to play tenant games? Tenants don't get to lock themselves in rooms with the owner's property. Tenants also don't have access to the owner's private bedroom. I'm calling the cops. Please do. I'd love to explain to them how you barricaded yourself in a room with thousands of dollars of electronics that belong to me. That's called conversion, by the way. Look it up. She didn't call the cops. She called her sister instead. For about 2 hours. Lots of screaming. Lots of crying. That evening, I came home to find her mother sitting at my kitchen table. We need to discuss this like adults, she said. I agree. Where's your daughter? In her room. The spare bedroom, you mean? The one in my apartment. She sighed. You're really going to keep doing this? Doing what? Being accurate. Being hostile. Ma'am, your daughter demanded I pay her rent in my own home. Then she locked herself in a room with my belongings. Then she claimed tenant rights to avoid consequences. I've been remarkably patient, actually. She's scared. She feels like she has no security, no future. She was getting married. To me. In a home I owned outright. With no mortgage, no debt, no financial concerns. She had security. She threw it away because her sister convinced her she deserved more. Her mother's face flickered. Her sister has always been strong-minded. Her sister told her to shake down her fiancé for rent money. That's not strong-minded. That's delusional. And now your daughter is going to be single and homeless because she listened. You can still fix this. Just tear up the lease, forgive her. And then what? We get married and she does this again? Maybe with the house we buy together? Maybe with my retirement accounts? What does it end? No answer. 23 days, I said. She can sign the lease and stay as a tenant. She can leave voluntarily. Or she can wait until I formally evict her. Those are the options. The dirty tricks continued. Day 11. I came home to find several of my personal documents had been reorganized. Tax returns, bank statements, the deed to the apartment, all moved from my filing cabinet to somewhere. She claimed she was cleaning and put them somewhere safe. I found them eventually, stuffed in a box in the hall closet. She was clearly looking for something, maybe hoping to find evidence I had debt, or that I didn't actually own the place outright. Day 13. Her sister started sending me texts. Long, rambling messages about how I was financially abusive and controlling, and how my fiancé deserved better. I screenshot them all and didn't respond. Day 15. My fiancé tried to throw a dinner party. In my apartment. Without asking. I came home to find 4 of her friends in my living room, drinking my beer, using my dishes. She was apparently trying to establish some kind of community presence to make it harder for me to kick her out. I walked in, assessed the situation, and started carrying the couch cushions to my bedroom. Just calmly removed them one by one while everyone watched. "What are you doing?" one friend asked. "Removing my furniture from the common area. You're welcome to sit on the floor." The party ended pretty quickly after that. Day 17. She accidentally broke the coffee maker. My nice Breville one. $250. When I asked what happened, she shrugged. "Things break." "Cool. I'll add it to your tab." "What tab?" "The running total of things you're going to owe me when this is over. We're at $37,800 in housing equity you haven't earned, plus $250 for the coffee maker." Should I keep going? Final update, day 29. The deadline arrived. I'd spent the past 2 weeks being meticulously reasonable. Every interaction documented. Every outburst from her recorded. Every attempt to damage property photographed. I had a folder on my laptop called Evidence that was getting concerningly large. My attorney had filed the formal eviction notice on day 22, giving her the legally required 7-day notice to vacate since she'd never had a formal lease and was therefore a tenant at will. She could fight it, but she'd need to hire a lawyer and go to court, and based on everything I documented, she'd lose. The morning of day 29, I was eating breakfast when she came out of the spare bedroom. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, hair unwashed. "I'm not leaving," she said. "I know. You can't make me. Actually, I can. The sheriff's department will be here at 2 p.m. to remove you if you're still here. I filed the paperwork last week." Her face went white. "You're having me arrested?" "Not arrested. Removed. You've refused to leave. You've damaged my property. You've harassed me in my own home. This is the consequence. I'll tell them you abused me. You can try. I have 2 weeks of documented evidence showing you broke my coffee maker, locked yourself in a room with my belongings, threw unauthorized parties in my home, and went through my personal documents. You have what? The fact that I asked you to either pay rent or leave. They'll believe me. They always believe the woman. Maybe, but they'll also look at the evidence. And the evidence says you tried to extort your fiancé for rent money in his own home and then refused to leave when he ended the relationship. That's not domestic abuse. That's a breakup with an entitled squatter. She started crying again. At this point, I was immune. "You ruined everything," she sobbed. "We were supposed to get married. We were supposed to have a life together. You ruined everything. You, with your sister's advice and your demands and your rights. I gave you a free home, a partnership, a future. You wanted more. You wanted control. You wanted to extract money from me for existing. And when I said no, you tried to hold my home hostage. I just wanted security. You had security. You threw it away for $800 a month that you never actually would have collected." Her mother showed up around noon. Brought boxes. Didn't say a word to me. Just helped her daughter pack. The sister came too, of course. She had plenty to say. "You're a monster," she told me. "You destroyed her. She destroyed herself. You just helped. How can you be so cold? How can you tell your sister to shake down her fiancé for rent money and then act surprised when it backfires?" No answer. They were gone by 1:30 p.m. I stood in my doorway and watched them load the last box into the sister's SUV. My fiancé, ex-fiancé, didn't look back. Her mother did, though, just for a second. And in that look, I saw something unexpected, embarrassment, maybe even shame. She knew. She'd always known her daughter had pushed too far. She just couldn't admit it. Here's the aftermath. The engagement ring, the one I gave her, I asked for it back. She refused at first. Her sister said it was rightfully hers. I had my attorney send a letter explaining that in our state, an engagement ring is a conditional gift that must be returned if the engagement ends, especially if the recipient is at fault. Got it back 3 weeks later via certified mail. Total cost of her living with me rent-free for 14 months. Approximately $44,800 in housing value. Cost of the coffee maker she broke, $250. Cost of the locksmith, $185. Legal fees, $1,200. Worth it? Absolutely. Some people have asked if I miss her. Honestly, I miss who I thought she was. I miss the version of her that existed before her sister got in her ear. But that person might have never been real. What I don't miss is walking on eggshells, wondering what demand would come next, feeling like my own home wasn't really mine. The apartment feels different now. Quieter. Emptier. But also mine. Actually mine. For the first time in 14 months, I can sit on my couch in my home without worrying that someone is going to hand me a bill for the privilege. A few days after she left, I got a text from an unknown number. Her sister's husband, of all people. Hey man, just wanted to say I heard what happened. Between us, my wife's been in my ear about the same stuff for years. Charging rent, equity, all that. I told her if she ever tried it, I'd do exactly what you did. You did the right thing. Didn't respond. But I saved that message. The sister's husband, plotting his escape. Some patterns are just universal, I guess. As for me, I'm okay. Still processing. Still adjusting to having my space back. Still occasionally finding her stuff in weird corners. A hair tie here, a lip balm there. Little reminders of what almost was. But mostly, I'm relieved. Because if she'd pulled this after we were married, with joint assets, with property commingling, with actual legal claims to my home, it would have been 100 times worse. She did me a favor, really. Showed me who she was before it was too late. And all it cost me was a coffee maker and some legal fees.